Cool, and I think we're live now. And good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Dev Talks. Did you miss us? I know we've been almost a month away from the event now, but we're back. We're back with CrowdStrike, our big data and cloud stage partners from this year's edition. And joining us today, as you can see, it's Alexandru from them. Hey, how are you, Alex?
Hello, everyone. Thanks for having me. I'm doing great. I'm excited to share a couple of things that shaped my career over the years. So yeah, really pumped to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, really cool to have you on. And I wanted to ask you first of all, because I do have a cheat sheet here with you, but I wanted to ask you, how did you start your career at CrowdStrike, and what do you like about the company?
I started my journey with CrowdStrike as a cloud engineer 3.5 years ago, and I'm as excited as I was in the first few days. I spent more than 10 years of my career as part of an outsourcing company before, and while I'm grateful for it, because I had a lot of opportunities to experience a wide range of projects, each with its own business domain, technology stack, people, challenges. So that really allowed me to move fast from one team to another and really, see and grow fast in terms of career development. But one thing that I was missing, if I look back, is that there was no true commitment that you get when you get invested in building and developing a product that delivers value to customers. Back in 2019, when I had the opportunity to join CrowdStrike, the only thing that was holding me back was the fact that it was a remote position, first of all, and I was the type of person that really enjoyed going to an office. But once I took the leap, I found here at CrowdStrike a group of really talented people that embraced remote working by creating an environment where communication and transparency were central pieces, deeply embedded in a company culture, and this made everything so much easier. Now, there are many things that I think I love about the work that we do here. I probably could talk about it for days, but on the technical side, I'll just sum things up that in these 3 years since I joined CrowdStrike, 3.5 years, I never got bored, not even for a day. The unique technical environment created by the huge scale that we work at, combined with high concurrency that we deal with, really creates challenges even in the most common things that otherwise would have been trivial to solve. We are often in a position where we drive research. We have to do innovation by building our own tools or frameworks to solve problems, because whatever is already available is just not suitable for the scale that we operate at. And this leads me to another thing that I really love here. There is a general commitment to quality that is actually a core value of the company culture. And this is understood at all levels. It's not just engineering, where we naturally try to do things the best we can, but it's also leadership. We don't really care about how many features we deliver in a quarter or in a year. What matters most is the value that it brings to customer. So before we write any lines of code, we spend a great deal of time brainstorming on any new feature, thinking about how we can push the boundaries and how can we make that feature to deliver more value to customers. How can we make it sustainable from a technical perspective and all that. And this really, completes the picture from a technical and how we operate and how we invest our time after all, right?
That's so cool to hear. And you said you started in 2019 and it was a remote position.
Yes.
And you were taken aback a little bit about that, but that was right before COVID, right?
I think 1 year before all things,
because it started in 2020. So basically, when COVID started, I guess you were like, "Psych, I'm good," with the COVID.
Yeah,
and working remotely.
I had the perfect environment to
Yeah,
COVID from this
exactly.
perspective, because CrowdStrike is a remote first company right from the start, back to 2011. So it's deeply embedded in the company culture. The things that makes remote work more easier. Communication, transparency, all that it was right there when the whole COVID thing started. So for us, nothing really changed.
No transition there.
Exactly.
So that was good to have, right? And right now in this environment, people are still trying to go remote, and especially in the tech industry.
It's not easy to switch. I mean, if you have your whole operations around an office, it's definitely a big challenge to switch to remote work. But it's possible. I mean, we are living proof that we can operate, with 100% of our activities fully remote.
That's so cool. And I wanted to ask you, do you have like 2 or 3 reasons why a specialist should decide to work for you, for CrowdStrike?
Oh yeah, there are plenty of reasons, but if I am to sum up and to come down to two or three reasons. First of all, I'm a technical person, so
Mhm.
definitely technical context and the self development opportunities that come out of this of this fact. That's a good reason to consider. After that, we have excellent life work balance, and that is
Mhm.
something that we put a lot of focus on. And then definitely, I have to mention the pride and the satisfaction that we take out of the product that we build. To detail a bit more about these three reasons that I mentioned,
Mhm.
from the technical aspect, we have passed way beyond the point where we process more than 1 trillion events each and every day. That's a continuous data flow that we have, and I think this creates the unique context where we have to solve complex problems and face challenges on a daily basis. This
Mhm.
also creates a lot of opportunities for self-development just by exposing ourselves to so many problems that we try to solve. It's so dynamic, the environment that we work in, that it's just impossible not to learn new things, by day-to-day activities. In our activity, we also do a lot of research and development. It's not just building a new feature with repetitive tasks. We also have to build tools and frameworks from scratch, and to me, that's just amazing. I think we do a lot of. I mean, this research involves testing things at scale. We measure how certain solutions perform out in the wild. We learn from failures. We learn from successes. We iterate over design and improve implementation. I think until we reach a point where the system that we're trying to build is almost autonomous. This is this one goal that we have, especially as cloud engineers. We want to have systems that can scale by themselves. They
Mhm.
can react to problems. They can adapt to known issues. We want to have systems that are efficient, are performance, and on top of that, the experience. I mean, on top of the experience that we gain as contributors by building those components, there is also a lot of satisfaction that we get from seeing it work the way we expect them to work. And self-development, I do believe that is not just about having technical challenges to solve. I think it's also about people. By embracing
Mhm.
a remote-first company culture, I think that we've managed to build a distributed team with top talents from all over the world. And it's just amazing, the kind of people that you see and what they used to work before. In my example, I am very passionate about the whole aerospace industry,
Mhm.
and there are at least 5 people here that actually wrote code that runs in planes, and it's
Wow.
just amazing to get together over a virtual coffee and talk about what it's like to write software. For to me, that is something almost like rocket science there, right? So yeah, we also put a lot of focus on communication, on knowledge sharing, responsiveness. And if you have a question that you need to get answered, there are at least 5 people that will just be supportive and try to help you. I cannot remember any situation where I was blocked
Mhm.
and remain blocked because no one was there to help me. And that is essential, especially in this context. On the other hand, part of the same remote first company culture, it's equally important to find good work-life balance. So beside vacation, flexible hours, recharge days, people in general are supportive of individual needs and
Mhm.
personal rhythm. We do understand that each and every one of us have even greater challenges to face when we are not at work, especially in these past few years, right? Things have not been easy
Yeah.
for family matters and all that. So beside the technical side, there is also, I mean, to sum up on the last point, beside the technical side and the work-life balance, there is also a sense of pride and satisfaction that we get from investing our time into building something that not only makes a difference for customers, but it's also leading the industry in so many aspects.
Yeah. So again, that's really cool to hear because it sounds like a really dynamic work environment working for you and with a lot to learn. But I was thinking, in your opinion, what strengths do you think are the most important for people starting to work for you? I
Yeah,
mean, a few skills or anything that you can think about.
this is a very interesting question that I
Mhm.
got asked in the past, and
Mhm.
the reason I think it's interesting is because my answer actually changed over time, especially before and
Okay.
after joining CrowdStrike. I remember when I had the first contact with the recruiting team here at
Mhm.
CrowdStrike. Before I decided to go through the interview process, I was very hesitant to start the process, and that was mostly because I was reading about CrowdStrike. I was following technical blogs, and kind of seeing the type of challenges that CrowdStrike, that they had to face here. And I was inclined to think that I need more hands-on experience. I was not yet in a position to even think about applying, because I never got a chance to work at this scale and with this high concurrency, and probably this was even more multiplied. I mean, this feeling was magnified by the fact that I had very little experience in the cybersecurity space, right? So I was thinking that in order to be able to work at CrowdStrike, which is a cybersecurity company, you definitely need maybe hands-on experience in this industry. But now, looking around my colleagues, I think vast technical experience or prior activities in cybersecurity field is definitely not a common trait among us that groups us together. Instead, what I see is really passionate people with a lot of energy and curiosity. I see people that really want to understand how things work behind the scene. It's not just taking something, as a fact, but also understanding why something works the way it does, right? I see people with a desire to improve and make everything better around them. Technical and non-technical alike. We actually invest a lot of time in making sure that all our processes are as frictionless as possible, right? I see people that really care about how they invest their time. To us, this is not just a means to an end, getting paid at the end of the month, but we do care how we use our time, and we do like the fact that we feel that we are contributing to something that really matters. And while technical expertise, definitely that's important, right? And prior experience, it's also important because it plays a vital role in our career development. But I would say that all the other things that I mentioned before, they are much more important because they are key drivers in fostering that inclusive environment where we can grow both as individuals as well as teams.
Cool. So basically, you just need to be curious and not just do things for the sake of doing it, and try to understand what's happening behind the scenes. And in
I
the
like to
software.
think when I joined, I was comparing myself with a sponge,
Mhm.
myself in an environment with so many things to learn around me. It's just amazing, and I still feel like that. I still feel that I have not reached a position where there are no other things to learn here. It's a
And
continuous process.
that's a great mentality, because I wanted to ask you, my next question would have been like, do you have any advice for aspiring people that want to work in tech? Maybe not seniors, but juniors just starting up, and people that want to grow in the industry, right?
Right. I've been working in the tech industry for more than a decade, and as things move through, there is one thought that constantly comes to my mind, and that is, "Wow, what a time to be alive!" I look around, I read about various blog posts, and I'm always amazed by the things that they are discovered, and they are things that are available day to day. Year after year, technology evolves and gets more and more accessible to people, which I believe it's an amazing thing. And as it does that, it gets even faster in its rate of progressing further. I think we live in a time where tech industry is advancing at an astonishing rate on all levels. I mean, it's giving us a ton of opportunities such that we can never get bored in our lifetime. So I would say to anyone aspiring to grow in the tech industry, first of all, it's never too late. So I've seen people switching careers in maybe at a time in life where you say it's too late, and they are doing such an amazing job. So it's never too late to get started on this. But the things that I would definitely recommend as guiding points is, first of all, be kind, be curious, get involved, add a little bit of passion in what you do, and maybe what's most important is don't settle, because there is so much more out there. There is with so much room for growth and innovation, and as the tech community grows bigger and bigger, I truly believe that despite all the things that we see around us right now, which they are great and amazing as they are right now, I think what is best is yet to come. So I really look forward to a bright future where we all contribute in building together.
Okay, so you've heard it here first. There's never too late, and you can't teach old dogs new tricks. So make sure you, if you want to do that, just go into it and do it with an open mind. And switching a little bit back to CrowdStrike now, how did the company help you achieve your career goals? Because you've been with them from 2019.
Yeah, I've come a long way at least from my perspective, in these past 3 years since I joined CrowdStrike. Now, obviously, from a technical standpoint, having access to this work environment, and I'm thinking technically here, scale, concurrency, and the people around me, that really has fast-tracked my career development. I've been actively involved in developing a new product from scratch, building new components, and contributing to a platform that matured over time. And I think this was a unique opportunity for me to get started on a product which was new, and it was focused more on getting new features and making the product competitive. And I also got the chance to live and contribute to it until it matured over time. So I've had multiple opportunities to lead initiatives, right, through all phases of development, taking a concept and seeing it through research phase, through development and delivery. There was a lot to learn along the way, a lot to test for myself, which I believe is really important. There were obviously failures, there were successes, and probably most important was what I discovered after each of the failures and the success, right? Because this is a continuous process when we learn, and probably most of the time I've learned more from the failures and not from the successes, but cumulatively they all shaped my career development. Recently, I decided that I want to take things to a position from where I can make a bigger impact on the product development by helping and empowering teams to perform at their best. Soon enough, this opportunity presented itself, and I did a lateral movement into a manager role, and a whole new universe opened for me. I mean, as soon as I did that, there are so many things to get involved into, things to learn, things to try. I'm super excited for the future. On top of the growth opportunities that are naturally coming out of this dynamic work environment, what really helped me shape my career path are frequent one-on-one discussion with my direct managers, responsiveness to my needs and well-being, recognition for achievement, as well as having access to multiple learning networks and resources. And I believe this is very important because in a company, is not just important to build the product. People are the one building the product, so it is important to listen to them, because each and one of us have different goals. Maybe some colleague of mine want to learn Cassandra, for example, as a data storage, or someone else wants to go towards a managing role. And the direct managers, because we have frequent one-on-one discussions with them, and they do pay attention to our needs, they are in a position to really shape our career path such that we reach those goals. And on top of that, CrowdStrike also offers support in obtaining various certifications or joining external development programs, both of which I am actually really considering for the future. So I'll make sure to follow these benefits in the near future.
That's great, and seeing that the company actually involves itself into developing you guys, it's great. But now I was thinking, I have a question, but it's a little bit in two parts. Like, how do you see the future of work, and how do you frame this in the times that we live in now? Because I know things are crazy, and they seem to get crazier and crazier day by day.
Oh yeah, I think this is probably one of the hot questions of the time that we live in, because it's not just the pandemic, but everything that happens around us. Yeah. But in the same time, I do believe this is a complex question, and the answer is just as complex, especially considering that when we talk about future of work, we definitely need to consider specific domains and industry separately, because each one of them comes with their unique context and boundaries and limitations and things that you can and cannot do. But for the tech industry, however, we already experienced major changes in how we work, and how we work, how we measure success, what matters most for us. And the pandemic actually forced the industry to change very rapidly and adapt to an environment where people put more and more value on time and flexibility. And I think that's for the better, because time is really the most important resource that we have, and we should definitely make sure to spend it wisely. Going forward, I think it's not really a matter of companies either switching to remote work or getting back to the in-person at the office model. I see a lot of debate, which one is better, and a lot of people saying remote is better. Some other people saying office work is better. But what I think is probably the path going forward is rather companies focusing more on people and creating an environment where employees can work in a way that suits their need. I believe that is really important because there is no silver bullet here. If you have, as for example myself, in 10 years ago, if what I think about remote work, or do I want to use this model, the answer would have been a strong no, right? I was in a time in my life where I was eager to socialize, to meet new people, to have these daily interactions with people face to face. But as time passed and the family grew, now with two wonderful daughters around me, I have every reason to spend more time around my home. So remote work really suits my needs.
But it sounds like you actually do not lack the cooperation in CrowdStrike either way. So you
Yeah,
do have a lot of interaction and a lot of brainstorming with your teams, right?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. We
So.
actually, I mean, part of this remote first model,
Mhm.
obviously there has to be a balance there. You
Yeah.
cannot have everything just remote, and
Mhm.
having like real life interactions face to face, they're important. So I think as a company, what I really like here is that we focused on building that work environment when everyone can work with in whatever manner suits them, and that includes offices. We do have offices around the globe. We have an office in Bucharest, which is fully operational, and you can go to the office anytime you want. There is no enforcement here. No one
Mhm.
comes and say you have to go to the office 2 days a week or anything like that. It's really up to you. On top of that, we also have a lot of offsite events where the whole team just gets
Oh, cool.
together, and we have a couple of days to socialize. And those were the things that I really missed during the pandemic,
Mhm.
the whole travel restrictions and everything. Those were off the grid, but those are the things that really balance this remote work.
Oh, cool. Great to hear. But now, talking about no silver bullets, and I've been asking all of the companies joining us at Dev Talks this question: how can technology businesses build, access, and retain tech talent? Because the demand is getting higher and higher for tech people,
Yeah,
and the pool. I'm not sure the pool is growing that much right now, and the truly specialized people are not are hard to come across.
yeah. I think those are three unique problems.
Mhm.
Actually, not problem, but three unique areas that they have their own complexity. But we definitely work in an extremely dynamic industry with opportunities and challenges at every step.
Mhm.
As we integrate technology more and more into our lives, the need for people to work and contribute to the tech industry is growing exponentially. And right
Mhm.
now, honestly, I believe that demand is not even close to match up the supply.
Yeah.
This naturally creates a highly competitive environment for companies to access and retain tech talent. This is why, for example, at CrowdStrike, we invest so much in people, in creating that rich company culture and working environment that supports individuals both in their day-to-day activities, but also in their well-being. But if we are to go back to the initial question, when we talk about retaining tech talents, I think a major role in it plays the individual well-being. Of course,
Mhm.
doing exciting things, working with cutting-edge technology, that really helps. Having competitive compensation is also important, but there are other companies that have more or less the technical side. They can
Mhm.
replicate the challenges because we are not that unique in the things that we have to solve, right? But then what really makes a difference is how much you care about the people, how much you care beyond the product that you aim to build. um, and I think this is even more important because each and every one of us, we started to realize how fragile and important our health is, especially in the
Mhm.
past 3 years. And because tech talent has so many opportunities, I think it's also not easy to access them. The hiring process, I think it's very important to be lightweight, to be focused on the right things. It's supposed to be a process that is collaboratively built to provide excellent information exchange for both the candidate as well as the company. This is no longer just a one-way interviewing process where I try to see if the candidate is a good fit for the company, but it's both way. I think it's equally important that for both the company and the candidate to make sure that they are a good fit. So the interview is really goes both ways. On
Yeah.
the other hand, building the future tech talent is it's also very important because demand is only going to go up from here, right? We are expanding at an amazing rate there. Now more than ever, companies need to invest into creating a positive environment where everyone can learn new skills, can grow, And there are so many opportunities to do so, starting from early education programs with schools to various collaboration initiatives with universities, going even beyond with tech events of all shapes and sizes. There are so many to choose from. I'm actually proud that we as a company, we do get involved in supporting tech events like, DevTalks is one of them, Tech Sylvania, even global events like Black Hat, GopherCon, we sponsor, and we actually participate also with tales from our experience. So we do try to spark an interest by sharing the things that we do here. So we also contribute to the community with regular tech talks, research blog posts. We contribute to open source projects, and we do have also an extensive and fully paid internship program, like most other companies do. But I think that's important. That's important because not only it motivates people, but it also gives them the chance to experience what it's like to work in this tech industry before making that leap to signing the first contract. And we are also in the process of getting ourselves some partnership with universities. There is so much more that we can do in that front. So I'm really excited for the next.
You gotta get them young, right? get them, and get them used to you. And again, it's so cool to see you actually present in events like Dev Talks, and as you've said, Exylvania. And thank you again for being with us and sponsoring a whole stage. And I do have one final question. And in my cheat sheet here, it says that you are passionate about photography and you're passionate about woodworking. And it's pretty much the same as I am, because I'm obsessed about photography and woodworking as well. But I wanted to ask you about your technology skills and how do you keep those current?
Yeah. As I mentioned, time is the most valuable resource that we have. So we really have to choose wisely how we spend it. I think working in an industry that is so dynamic and fast changing is definitely challenging in terms of staying relevant and keeping the technology skills current. I used to be actually quite determined and hungry for learning the newest technologies, always switching from one thing to another in an effort to stay up to date. However, over the past couple of years, I've come to realize two things, and this is really what in a way shapes my pattern in learning new skills. So first of all, I realized that the things that I learn never really become obsolete. Sure, technologies and framework, they may fade away over time, but the experience that you gain by learning it, that stays with you, and it is definitely like a collaborative ball of knowledge that will help you with all the future decisions that you have to do on a technical level. So that just adds up. The second thing is that learning process is a continuous effort, and no matter the level that you reach, there are always new things to learn. So there is no point in rushing through the whole learning process, because before, whenever there was a new version of a framework that I was working with, for example, I would just swarm it and try to learn all the things that it has to offer and try it out and all that. But with this in mind, right now I've been practicing the 80-20 principle for a couple of years, and I try to keep it very simple. I'm just aiming that within the course of a week, I try to spend 20% of that time in learning new things. There is no pressure. I don't put deadlines on me or pressure. This learning, it's a mix of reading use cases. I really enjoy reading about use cases from other companies, like what are the challenges that they face, how they solve them. It's similar to how we do at CrowdStrike with the blog posts, the benchmark that they share, the things that they tried and worked and didn't work. These are probably the things that I enjoy most. But in the same time, I also write some code. I try something new out. I even enjoy from time to time taking various courses online, like even like LinkedIn has to offer. But I'm more of a practical person, and I tend to stay more on the writing some code or reading some practical use case from a blog post.
That's great. And I was checking CrowdStrike a little bit earlier and going through your social media a little bit and stalking the company, as it were. And I was pleasantly surprised that I actually found a Reddit page that you have. It's r/CrowdStrike, and you get a ton of new things there, and the cool things like being new at CrowdStrike and a ton of information and things that are actually made public as well with your blog. So that's really nice to see that you're getting involved in pretty much everything that means social media.
Yeah, absolutely.
So everyone watching us right now, make sure you go and check the CrowdStrike Reddit page because it's really cool. Yeah, and that was my final question. If you have anything more to add, please do.
I think that pretty much sums up, my journey so far, and I'm definitely excited for the future. There are so many new things and great things that are yet to happen. So yeah,
that's great. And again, it sounds like a really great company, and we know firsthand because you've been with us for the event that we had right here. And thanks again, Alex, for joining us. And make sure everyone watching this to hit Alex up on LinkedIn, and pick up the conversation from there. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you as well. Thank you for having me. This was an amazing experience.
That was cool. Great to hear. All right, see you, Alex.
Yeah, thanks, Mike.